From the moment she first wrote to me on May 5th, she communicated with me and I communicate with her every single day. No less, I mean, the first couple of weeks it was maybe an hour or two a day, but after the first month, never less than 10 hours a day, every day. I went through my bank statements and of all 3 credit cards I have. So the total amount spent was $317,000 and some few odds. So 317,403, $317,000 and $317,403.
That's a whole house in parts of the country, Mr. Bukowski.
Yeah, right.
Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, we can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't has no chill. I'm who I are. I'm who I is. Taylor suit and I play the part.
$137,000 later, something sounds right.
Yo, wow. No.
Wait, was it 137 or 317?
317 total.
Yeah, so it took him a whole house to realize something just isn't adding up.
I mean, dude, seriously? Look, I buy you a ring, you lose it. Okay, I'm getting something before the thing is coming back out.
Right.
Before the gravy train keeps going, I'm getting something. If you all of a sudden want to bounce out because of that, poof, be gone. Yeah. Ejectus, get away-us. I can't with this reasoning, man.
Is that a Harry Potter spell?
Hey, man, you know, yeah.
Eject us, get away us.
Hey, I'm gonna start using that, man. Eject us, get away us.
I hate Harry Potter though.
Me too.
Well, like I said, I had my suspicions, but they were confirmed after this incident. I actually hired a private detective. I went online and first I wanted to hire an American private detective. And one gentleman in America, he was quite honest with him. He said the best thing to do was hire someone who was in country. So I found a private detective here. He helped me find a private detective here who does this kind of work that could go through Russia and Ukraine. And I hired a private detective, and he, hired someone to do some cyber work where they took their phone number and email address and things like that, where she was communicating with me. And at the time, she was in Bali doing the work, but the person who was communicating with me was speaking to me from Kiev. So it was very obvious, all my suspicions were confirmed that it was not her that I was speaking with all the time. And he said that there were times where she may be speaking to me, but based on all the evidence he put together, as you can see with this report, 90% of the time it was someone else speaking to me.
I'm not saying y'all are related, but at what point when you get it confirmed, do you just walk away? I'm asking him this.
Oh.
Because the reason why I tied you into it is because it seems like he wanted to continue to see what they would do or how it would go. You have all of this information presented to you, yet you don't just go, you know what, man, I'm gonna walk away. You go, you know what? I know I'm getting scammed.
Let me throw some more money at it.
But let me continue throwing money at it, because I'm curious. No,
not me.
My curiosity extends beyond the thoughts of, oh, this ain't working out. I got to spend $2 on a sticker just to talk with you.
It's not a real sticker.
I'm out. Yeah, how'd the story finish?
It's still in process. One of the things I decided to do was you get angry. And I decided I was going to pursue it. So after I hired the detective, I hired a lawyer.
Okay.
I'm here in Kiev now. Reported this to the Ukrainian authorities. We'll be going to the Russian embassy, reporting it to the Russian authorities as well. We've got passport information. We've got everything that you could possibly get, and we've turned all this stuff over. We know the name of the agency. We know that how the scam works. We've got that pretty laid out in detail, and we're going to pursue this all the way. I know that no matter what the cost or expense or time, I'm not going to stop. It's not just about the money, it's just about the fact that it was done in the most egregious manner, in the most...
He's like, I will throw 3 more houses at this to get answers.
Oh man! Again, if you got this kind of money, send it to me to hold on to you. We can drop an agreement. I'll lay out what my cut is up front, and at the end of the prescribed time period, I will give you your money back minus my fee. That's way better than throwing money at these websites looking for love. Jeez.
Evil manner, and so I just want to make sure they're brought to justice and not get away with it, so they don't do it to anyone else.
Good. There's more?
Sure. One of the things I would say is for anyone who's out there now who may be on an online dating site international, I hired a private detective and he did extensive detailed work, and it is a very, very small probability that whomever you're talking to is not involved in a scam. According to their statistics, less than 6% of women international want to be involved in an international relationship of any consequence anyway.
Yeah.
However, it shows that over 95% of them are involved knowingly in some sort of deception. Coming here to Ukraine and seeing how it works and talking to some women who are involved, you understand that it's just part of life. Here, it's just what they do. And to them, is it illegal? Sure, but it's like cheating on your taxes to them. They just say everyone does it. So if you're on one of these sites, even if you've come and you've met, don't believe what you see on the site. Don't believe those parts where you see that there's success stories. I fell for all that. None of it's real. And you may not want to listen like I didn't. But before you spend $317,000,
You can't even say it.
I would just learn from my example.
He probably cries every night.
Hey man, let me shorten down what he just said for you. If you're a person of means that has the ability to travel internationally to meet people, then you're somebody that has a net worth where your net worth is attractive. Being able to go across the pond, okay, or travel to a different area like it's nothing makes you attractive by default. You could look like a 3, but if you got 2 commas in your net worth, you get bumped up several numbers on the sexual marketplace value. Right. Okay? Understand that about yourself. You're going to be attractive, plain and simple. So it's not like them talking to you is really not a possibility like that. It's just, it's going to make you a target, whether you're famous and you have a high net worth or you're not famous and you have a high net worth. People will come trying to get you and extract you out of your resources. You have to know that.
You're a target.
Man.
Yes, the name of the site I was on was valentine.com. I know it's also traditionally known as prime.date. I contacted them for the first time. I contacted them in June about the photos that I was suspicious about those. And they wrote me back telling me everything was fine. They spoke to the agency, which I didn't understand what they meant by agency at the time, but I found out later. They said they also spoke to the young lady. They assured me to check that her profile was verified. And verified means they have a photocopy of her passport and that they've interviewed her and that they can verify that it is absolutely her. And that the reason why she was asking me for so many photos was because she was so crazy about me. And that was the explanation I received. My entire time with Ikatanina Inokaiva was on valentine.com. So I was only on that website.
It's 10 syllables.
They have long names.
I'm calling you E or ECOT.
Oh, absolutely. The first time I contacted them was in June. So you think about in the month of June, I'd only spent about $40,000. That's still a lot of money. I don't think most people spend that amount. The next time I contacted them, I was well over $150,000 in, and I was still spending, up to $2,000 a day.
You know what's funny? He just said that it was $40,000. I don't think most people spend that amount. That means he's rich. If he has no idea of how much people spend in a year, which is basically like when we talk about the median salary in America, that's someone's yearly salary. He's thinking, I don't think people spend that much. Oh man, yeah. I remember like when they were passing out the stimulus checks, that some of the I guess it's the senators, they were complaining because like this is too much money. People can get rich off these stimulus checks. I'm like,
Yeah. I was like, rich off $1,200?
yeah,
That's barely rent in most places.
exactly. You know, but if you look at all these senators, they're basically all of them, I think, except for like maybe like a handful, like under 10, are all millionaires, and their salaries are about 150, 170, but yet they're all millionaires. So you have out of touch people running the government thinking that $1,200, you're getting too much money. Hey, come on now, come back down to earth.
Hey, hold on. You said senators make how much?
Between like 150, 170.
Hey, I'm gonna have to see what it take to be qualified to be a senator in this joint.
Apparently not much, because Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTJ, whatever it is. She is an idiot.
Who's that?
The one who thought the Jewish space had space lasers and stuff like that. That could, you know.
And she got voted on in?
She was she didn't actually get voted in. I mean, she was whoever was in before her either stepped out or died or something like that. I don't know. So she was able to go in like that. It wasn't, but I think they did kind of re-vote her back in or something. I don't
Okay.
know, but
I'm doing some research. Because if people like him can spend this kind of money for love, sucker for love, dude, and you got these other senators and stuff, hey.
yeah.
Okay. Bet.
So I don't think they wanted that revenue to stop. And each time they said they were going to look into the situation. So as you can see from the email that I wrote very extensive about my concerns. I was very detailed about them, and I sent them screenshots of our conversation. And I told them, I said, you know, I really want to make sure this is real. I said, because I'm just getting suspicious. And each time it was met with, there's nothing to worry about, everything's fine. And of course, looking back on it, you can say, you know, it seems pretty obvious. But when you're in the middle of it, you know, that explanation made sense. And so I could have, if they had done a real investigation, if they really cared, it would have stopped in June of last year. But instead, here we are, $317,000 later, because that they wanted to keep that revenue coming in.
Of course. The cow's producing milk, I'm gonna milk it.
Yes, well, actually, that risk notice I found on several different websites. What I did when I first started investigating myself, I found her on many different websites, this same profile. And there was some slight differences. One would say she was divorced, or one would say she's never married, things like that. So that was never exact, but it was her photos, and all of them said they verified her profile, checked her passport. They all said those things, and I found out later that's true. So they were verified profiles. And that disclaimer notice, where they basically say it's okay for them, you're gonna get scammed here, those are on every website.
Hold on. So when I first started investigating, so this seemed like before he hired somebody. So Spider Senses is tingling.
Right.
He gets all of this confirmation essentially and chooses to still continue.
Yep.
He deserves to lose all the money that he lost. Hey, you know what? Never mind.
Website I checked, they have that notice on there. Absolutely, it's very obvious. Just like with this one specific case, she would go from website to website. You have all these different websites that she exists on for a reason. This is a very beautiful young woman in a very highly populated city who gets to travel all over the world. She doesn't need a website. She doesn't need to be on 6 or 7 different websites trying to meet a man.
There you go.
And she's too busy for that, so she couldn't be speaking to them anyway. So it's very obvious that what's happening is that she's working with this one marriage agency, and this agency is working in affiliation with all these different websites. And so it's just going from one to the other to the other. But it's all owned by the same person or the same group.
If you're a model, there's bound to be at least a crew of people taking pictures of you. And I'm going to assume it's mostly or majority men. And I'm pretty sure most of those men are interested in the models because they're attractive women. What makes you think that she needs to go online and look to find a man when she's more or less surrounded by men all the time?
Please do not let that point go over your head. please don't let that point go over your head. Because if it did, you're going to be scammed like this guy is. The point that he said and what this man clarified that really didn't need clarification is the main thing about.
You got this. Uh-oh. He's shutting down. He's shutting down.
No, I realized how stupid it was.
Yeah, I know.
For that to be said and known. And it sounds like he knew this before getting into this thing.
Oh, yeah.
That he knows this about beauty and stuff, yet still got scammed.
Right.
I can't.
he's short-circuiting people. We'll wait for him to reboot.
Yes, this is the risk notice, and it reads word for word on every website that I checked. So this same, sometimes it's on a risk notice, sometimes it's on their policies and procedures, but it's there on each different website, and they all read word for word. Well, I have retained a lawyer, but we have not gotten to the risk notice portion of it yet because it's such a...
Go ahead.
Accountant.
Private investigator.
Private investigator in the U.S. and overseas. Okay.
And sent home in a whole house, basically.
Okay.
Massive amount of information. So we have not reviewed that portion of it yet to find out if it's legal. And there could be different legalities based on the country or the province that in which they're operating. I know that in the United States, based on just a shorthand look at it, that it can't be legal. That scamming is not legal. Because in the risk notice, it's not just saying you may be scammed. They actually lay out how the scam works. So exactly what happened to me, they laid it out word for word, exactly what's going to happen. And it also says they're incentive based because they pay the women and they pay the agency part of the money they get from whatever gentleman they're speaking with. So they're laying out how the scam works. They tell you that they're going to pay them, and they say that you probably will not be speaking to the young lady because they'll have an incentive to just make money from you. So I know that in the United States, based on the wording, that's not something that's allowed. It's illegal. But depending on the state and legalities, we haven't got to that part yet.
So I want to share a quick story. It actually happened to me today because I'm single, as most people already know, and I'm on the dating sites here and there. But like I said, I'm hip to these scams. I just like to see where they go and see if they've changed. So basically what happened was I met this girl, and I met her on Tinder. I don't think we even talked on Tinder because she had her Instagram on her Tinder profile.
All right.
And typically, if someone puts their Instagram on their Tinder profile, that's kind of a good sign. It's not super sketchy. If someone puts their Snapchat on there, that's a fake profile or it's a girl. It's an OnlyFans girl. But that being aside, we'll come to that in a different video. So I messaged her on Instagram, and she's like, she wants to meet and blah, blah. And she's not afraid of anything serious. So in the back of my head, I'm like, well, if I was a dumb guy, I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. With benefits or, just like fun on whatever. That's kind of perfect. And I'm like, nah, it's too perfect, obviously. But anyways, so then she's like, she starts sending me pictures, and they start getting a little bit more risque and a little bit more risque, and then she's asking certain things, and then she's asking about having, fun times, and telling me what she is into and what she isn't into and what I can and can't do. And I didn't ask her any of this. She just came out and told me this. And this is all to entice you into thinking that you're getting a good deal, So here's where the scam came in, basically. She says because she's been, I guess, scammed in the past, whatever, or things or bad things have happened to her in the past. She now requires people to go through a verification website. Whenever you hear, if you ever talk to a girl and she says, for my safety, I want you to go through this verification website, you better believe it's 100% fake.
100%.
I've never fallen for it because I already know it's just collecting your information. She's going to tell you that. She's probably going to give you a special code where you're not going to get billed, but they're still going to want your credit card number. They're going to want your name, your address, all your information. And if you give that to them, that is your own fault. Never, ever give out your information to any website unless you know it's a reputable website,
Yes. And I mean, think about this from a reasonable perspective. You don't need to.
Right.
Hey, if you want to know who I am and grab a sense of me, coffee date. Let's meet in public.
Right.
Okay. And then from there, deduce yourself on if you think I'm a good person to continue getting to know or not.
Right.
Outside of that, no.
Exactly.
There is no ooh.
What?
In the future, this is something for a different episode. In the future, I think that people are going to have what's called a social media score, where your online presence is like capital to how, risky of a person you are. Like if you're somebody that don't have verified social media,
Right.
then I'm going to put you in the risky category. Oh, was the dating profile verified? Because you know how Tinder, Bumble, you have to put up a hand or have the check mark or whatever. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'll double check, but I don't remember. But
Huh.
like I said, I've come across liars profiles before, and the funny thing is, most of them say exactly the same thing. I'm not saying similar. I'm saying the exact same words. It's not how you know it's fake.
Yep.
But now, I'm sorry, real quick. The other thing was, like I said, that she sent pictures to entice me, and these pictures, each picture got risque and risque, where more clothes came off, and you'd see through stuff, and to the point where she wasn't even wearing anything. So that's what they do to get you hooked and keep you going and thinking you're getting a good deal.
Yep. And even if you ask for, hey, let's video chat live, they're getting good at this stuff. I asked somebody, I was like, hey, look, I don't have time to be going back and forth. Let's video chat right now. I'm typing but I can talk. So they got on, played this video where it was like they were trying to talk with me, but their audio wasn't working. And that lasted for about 15 seconds. And then they hung up and was like, oh, sorry, my audio's not working. I'm like, okay.
Right.
And I kept going just to see where we're going. But I knew beforehand, but I was like, I'm curious. And that's what made me go, dang, they getting good at this.
They are.
So this guy, he went through the same thing, yet he chose to continue instead of spider senses tingling and going, I'm not doing this. Rationalize versus reasonable.
Well, the private detective laid that out for me, and basically what we explained to me was that you have this marriage agency, and all of these different websites use this pool of marriage agencies. So she'll go to this marriage agency and she gets signed up, and they'll go and they'll do these photo shoots. As a matter of fact, if you go to these dating websites and start looking through those photos, you can probably tell which woman belongs to which agency, because look at the background in their photos, and they're all taking the photos in the same place. And so you go take a look at those photos, you'll see that, and they change these photos like every 5 to 6 months. And they'll go and they'll put this lady's profile on 5 or 6 different websites. And the reason why is because that's just more income coming in. So they'll be sitting in a room, and there may be 10 to 15 or 20 people, and the young lady's not there. These are people that they call translators. And most of them are men that you're speaking with. They're called translators, and they are speaking on behalf of this lady. In my situation, I would get suspicious, and I would say, send me a selfie. She would always say, I'm naked in the bed, or I need to put on my makeup. I'll give it to you tomorrow. The next day, I would have a photo, and it would be her holding up a sheet of paper with my name on it saying hello. But it would never happen in the moment. And the next day, you may say, I want a video. I want to see you. I want to hear your voice. A few days later, you get a video from the young lady where she would be saying, hello, how are you doing?
Hello, honey Anthony. I'm waiting for your meeting. Hi, Anthony. I miss you so
She
much.
got handlers, bro. I respect the hustle.
But it would never happen in the moment. So what would happen is they would have to contact this young lady and say, hey, send us this video. In one particular case, and right before I told her that I wanted to get off the website, I actually wrote them and said, I want proof that this young lady is the one speaking to me. So they had her send me a video of her saying, basically damning herself. My name is Katarina, you see it's me, I'm here, and I'm the one communicating with you on this website. So basically she was saying how complicit she was with this scam. So she can never say that, hey, I had no idea what was happening, because she sent that video.
So
and they
you
even
can't sue
translated
that.
in the bottom into Russian what she was saying.
You can't sue that.
Версия реальная.
That's the thing. We don't know what the laws are like in Russia, though. You know,
Huh.
look at the basketball player girl. She got 9 years for the weed or whatever it was, or the vape oil. I don't know what it was, but everyone's saying, "Oh, let her go free. It's her first time. It's a small thing." But laws are different in different countries.
Man.
So yeah.
Сижу на сайте Dream Singles.
Hey, if you ain't got no
Веду
street
общение сама.
sense enough to realize
Сегодня
that
8
hustle,
февраля
then you deserve it.
2019 года.
So they just go from website to website to website. And are they victims? Are the young ladies victims?
That's another scam. Not this particular picture, but that's another type of scam right there. When you ask for a picture, and I think matter of fact it happened to me with the girl I was talking to today. They asked for your name, or asked you for my name, and then she's holding a piece of paper. And if you look closely, you can tell the pixels aren't real. It's because it's not someone who wrote it, but it said "Hello, Sean," whatever it was. And that's what they'll do to get you hooked and make you think it's a real person. They're using a computer program to just basically, put your name or whatever message on there. But typically, what you can do is, if there's any letters that are duplicated, like E's or L's, whatever they are, and it's exactly the same stroke, you know if someone just typed it in. So there's ways to figure this stuff out. You just gotta you gotta look, do some critical thinking.
In a sense, maybe, but at the same time, they are cognizant of what's happening, and they are fully aware that they are scamming the man that's involved. They're not innocent. A humorous way to say it is if it's an international dating website, it's a scam. That's what I would say. But I would say a couple of ways. First and foremost, what I learned is if they have models on the site, it's a scam. It's not going to happen. They have those models there for one reason. It's eye candy. It's to entice you to get on that site. And the moment that those women start contacting you, we all know beautiful women don't chase men. Oh, beautiful women don't chase men. Oh, beautiful women don't chase men. They're used to being chased. So, like in this case, she started writing to me, asking me. And when I went on that website, we all have egos, but I'm not crazy enough to think that every beautiful woman in the world wants to speak to me. I logged in and I had 20 chat requests within the first 5 minutes, and I was getting hundreds a day of people writing me mail saying they wanted to marry me. So one way you can test it is when you first put up your profile, don't put a photo. And put that you're 80 years old, and you will get 50 requests within 5 minutes. You'll know it's a scam. And I tested that after I went ahead, I went to another website, and I put no photo, and I put down, because all these websites, the women say they're looking for a man from 18 to 80. That's usually what they put, 18 to 80, or they'll put 25 to 65. So I put 80 years old, and I had, within 5 minutes, they were just pouring in women who were just adoring me, but they had no idea what I look like. I'm 80 years old, so there's real easy ways to tell.
I wouldn't say so.
No, I don't believe that at all. I think what happens is there's a link that you can go to. The private investigator sent me this link where they recruit these women. So these are women who fit a certain profile, and they actually recruit them. So the average person you see walking around out there is not going to be a scammer, and they are just as disgusted as we are about this behavior. But these women are recruited. So there's a certain personality type, this atypical personality, who is willing to do this. I know myself, as angry as I am, I couldn't do this to someone. I couldn't sit up there and deceive someone and watch their heart break into pieces and you just keep digging and digging. But some people can, and that's the personality that they're looking for. So the average person out there, that's not what they're like. But the women and the men that they use as translators, that's the kind of person that they are. I think if there's a legitimate dating site, if it's very legitimate, it does open the door. It's a way to get to know a young lady, talk to her, and then when you come down here to the Ukraine or wherever you may go, like I'm in Kiev now, when you come here, you have a starting point. You know a little bit about the young lady, and then it makes it easier. And of course, when you come to Ukraine, if you come here and you don't have that introductory portion of it, like the website, it's a bit more difficult because you have to be in an environment where you meet the young lady. You don't know if they're singing, you don't know where they're going to be. So the website platform does make it easier. I think it's an excellent platform for it if you want to meet an international bride or if you're looking to meet someone, period. But it has to be a legitimate dating website, and they're easy to spot now. I can spot it easily now, but most people out there, they would look at, they wouldn't be able to tell.
He can spot it easily now after 4 houses later.
Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, we can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't had no chill. I'm who I are, I'm who I is. Taylor Susan, I play the part. Funkify, how you mesmerize. Black Austin Pies, man, that I'm stupid. Then again, oh so clever. On my loony, pour that lever. Talk my shit, I'm talking hella flow, baby, you know.